year, or maybe if the nature of the performance appraisal in that company is twice per year, then they need to see their own superior in the middle of the year and also towards the end of the year. So basically, it's about a formal system of review. Okay, a formal system of review. You need to uh, um, really follow and adhere the guidelines or policy provided in the appraisal. Okay. So the performance appraisal itself as a platform, where it is a session where the employees and the superior will meet together, and then they will discuss about the performance. They will discuss about the issues, problems, limitations, and sometimes the employee also can raise about their hardship, their challenge, and then they can plan also on the performance, career development. They can plan. They also can discuss about training. Okay? So you yourself, if let's say you would like to introduce or better practices, then you can think about what you can improve in the process itself. The process of performance appraisal. Okay, it is a platform between a discussion between two parties, the superior and also the employees. So in the performance appraisal is playing a good, what do we call, playing a crucial role in organization because information from performance appraisal will be used for the next HRM activities. Salary, for example, or compensations. Okay, if they were to determine the rewards, they were to determine the increment, they were to determine the any new benefit, okay, they might need to refer to the performance appraisal rating or score. Okay, so you can see the human resource planning required for performance appraisal, career planning and development, of course, recruitment and selection, because we would like to know what kind of people, what kind of competencies needed in that particular job scope. Right. So let's say in the previous time we getting feedback from the performance appraisal that these employees highlighted on maybe discrepancy between the expertise and also the job, then they can find the gaps and also they can improve the recruitment and selection criteria or requirement process. Compensation programs, assessment of employee potential. Yes, let's say you would like to implement talent management program. You would like to develop talented or potential employees for the leadership position. So the assessment for performance appraisal providing information pertaining to the employees progress or employees performance, individual performance. And then the performance appraisal also could be in the form of based performance, based performance, but still they are not going to interview on in group, but they will be putting a certain criteria that this is the group based performance. Yeah, teamwork, for example. Okay, training and development, internal employee relation. Even if let's say something to do with the issues, let's say employees raise on the safety and health, where throughout the work procedure they found problems with a certain equipment, let's say where the organization not maybe not aware of that, and then the HR can get the information pertaining to safety and okay. Any question? Yeah. So this is only the uses of performance appraisal. Let's see how you while recall back what you have learned in class. Maybe you can think about what the new thing that you might introduce in the process of in the session in the performance appraisal session. Okay. So this basically the process. Where if you look at here, we have internal environment and external environment. Internal and external. Internal is from within. Okay, from within organization, from your organization. Okay, so it is within your control. External from the other factors, politics, economy, okay, social, technology, environment, and legal. Okay, which is beyond your control. Let's say the government come up, let's say the employment law coming up with a certain criteria or standard that may be used in performance appraisal, then you need to abide and you need to adhere with the new law. Okay, technology, let's say you also need to adapt. We need to adapt with technology. Yeah. So let's say in the technology we use now, instead of we use manual, we use technology to assist us in a performance appraisal process. So we can relate on technology. So for the HR, if they were to come up with performance appraisal process, they can either they need to aware of these two factors, and then they must come up with their own criteria, standard, okay, and then assessment. Okay, they need to assess, they need to evaluate, okay, and then towards the end they need to check the result. Okay, and then after that discuss with employee, where we call the session performance appraisal session, PA session, performance appraisal session. So this is normally the process. So you can imagine here, when you involved in the performance appraisal process, we're going to discuss with our superior, meaning I can say that somebody or someone who actually controlling you or directing you or directly is supervise you. Where the supervisor, of course, they are good at your job. Okay, so the issue that can raise here maybe in terms of communication, you have communication problem before. Okay, that might hinder you to tell certain thing. Okay, communication. Maybe the issue is about what do we call, um, do you have any bad experience? Let's say, okay, that might um, bad experience that might have um, that provide a certain constraint. Okay, you would like to tell them and to tell him or her, but you feel like this might not be preferred by the superior, or maybe you can see the mood or whatever. Right? So a presentation must be created to make it effective. We must create the appraisal session to make it attractive. Okay, so what can we introduce here? If let's say normally the majority of the staff would say that they are not really comfortable with the performance appraisal session. For example, they feel like this is kind of a platform where they are going to be affected by the result. They are going to be blamed for the underperformance, right? So there must be an improvement. So an improvement, because the input here is very important. So let's say if you were to introduce a session which is really we call effective session. The effective session is the best stuff. Effective, you can reach the goal, because the goal of performance appraisal is the information obtained from the performance appraisal would improve, okay, the company and also the employees, where both parties can get their goals. Employees can express their feeling, employees can raise their concern, employees can inform their challenge, employees can also recommend things. So it must be effective. The benefit is for the employees, the employees themselves, sorry, employees and employer the company. So the session must be effective. Effective means they can get the targeted outcomes. Right. Okay. Any question here? Can any of you who have question in this part? So if you have later, then you just raise. So meaning, we know that performance appraisal is really important, and the output from performance appraisal will be useful in the next HRM functions, including training and development, okay, salary or compensation, or we call remuneration in our topic. It relates to just in case that's something to do with safety and health, then we're going to alert safety and health, and then recruitment and selection. If let's say we found that this employee we have just recruited for 2 years from a certain colleges, from the universities, whatever education sector, right? Means we take this, we took the employees as a fresh graduates. So we found that based on the academic qualification, this employee couldn't perform that particular job scope. So we might have an idea what to do. okay, in terms of recruitment and selection. Okay, in terms of recruitment and selection, what to do. So information performance appraisal is really important for recruitment and selection, training and development. Okay, this is and development, um, industrial relation. Okay, industrial relation and internal relation. We have internal relation and industrial relation topic 11. So internal relation is a relationship between the employees and the employer. So information from here is very important because here maybe they talk about, let's say during performance appraisal process indirectly towards the end of performance appraisal. Okay, in the form, it has the column recommendation for normal increment, merit increment, promotion, increase in whatever, okay, salary or whatever. So let's say the employees raise up about the underpaid or whatever. So the information from here might be useful for the internal relation. Maybe they also talk about they're not so close, or what we call, they have problems in terms of relationship um, among cross-functional teams. Okay, so information from here also would be useful for the internal relation function, okay, in the organization. So that's why it's really important. So what could we do to make sure that the appraisal process going smooth and also provide more meaningful outcomes, right? So next we look at the we look at the what do we evaluate actually? Okay, so to make it effective, just now we mentioned that the session itself should be effective, meaning both parties are comfortable. So that's why there are skills, okay, to come up with performance appraisal. We're going to learn later. Revise, we do revision. All right. So establish performance criteria means for you to make sure that you succeed in the performance appraisal. Okay, to success, you must make sure that these are the right one. Okay, you must make sure this is accurate. Okay, accurate, and this is what we call reliable. Okay, reliable means you are measuring the one that you're supposed to measure. Reliable, accurate, and you measure. You have clear terms, yeah, and description. So the criteria is very clear for every single superior who are going to evaluate the staff. So they're going to be fair. So, and they must make sure all of this in the fair practice. So meaning if you are measuring someone that you have favoritism, for example, you may be not fair in the evaluation, but remember to make sure that you reach this effective performance appraisal, you must make sure that the criteria itself, we call the criteria, and all this thing we call criteria, all the criteria must be accurate, reliable, clear, the terms and description, so that both employees and the evaluator or superior come up with the best accurate performance rating, and then it must be fair in practice. Practice means, what does it mean by practice? Practice means implementation. Implementation. You must succeed in implementation. So these are important because of if you have you're not clear with the criteria, for example, employee also do not clear with the criteria. So how can they ensure they are in the right direction, they follow the right processes, right? So remember the traits here, you can see it's not only the trait, it's not only competencies, but competencies is expertise, goal achievement, the standard, okay? Objective, for example. So normally the standard is the objective. Objective is normally came from SMART, right? SMART goal, SMART objective, sustainable, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So the goal achievement and also improvement potential. But remember, we also measure the performance of an employee from the perspective of behavior. How do you demonstrate your behavior? You can see in the case of customer service, for example, behavior is really important. Behavior is really important. Customer service, even because even the what do we call the satisfaction, customer satisfaction also will be based on the how the service provider behave, okay, in the process of buying the food, receiving the food, receiving the goods, for example, in the case in this case maybe the foods. Okay, so this also should be our concern, okay, for us to make sure that it is better. Okay. Better. So why I mention better? Because our organization is always would like to improve, okay, to improve the practices. Practices mean implementation. They would like to improve implementation. So in our implementation in performance appraisal, we need to make sure that we measure the right thing. What do we measure? The criteria. These are the criteria. Okay, these are the criteria. So traits. Trait is items that we measure. Personality traits, maybe talk about the maybe commitment, right? Discipline. So traits, behavior. How do you demonstrate your behavior? Are you kind of what do we call it? You're easy to approach, okay? Maybe willing to share ideas or whatever behavior, and how do you liaise with the customers? Okay, competencies and your expertise, achievement, right? How do you are you achieving? Are you someone who normally meet or exceed? Okay? Are you going? Are you the one that normally going beyond the normal expectation? Okay, and improvement potential. Do you have any improvement potential in you? Okay, so why this is important? Because of improvement potential normally will be related to training and development. Okay, improvement potential. So we must make sure that we measured correctly, accurate. This criteria must be accurate, reliable, clear on its terms and descriptions to both parties. Right? Okay. So again, every phases of performance appraisal can be improved. It can be better. We call betterment. It can be better. So we need to understand the responsibility of appraisal. In the process, normally we have sometimes we have only the supervisor appraise us, or maybe we have 360-degree feedback. The whole parties who involved with us will evaluate, for example, customers, vendors, superior, employees, our subordinate employees, who else? Cross-functional teams. That one we call 360 degree feedback. Normally they call as a perfect lah. Yes, a perfect because we compose the evaluator composed from various we call units. Okay, various units. Okay, so these are those who will involve in the performance appraisal. Peer and team members also, like all of this, immediate superior, subordinate, peer, self-appraiser, customer appraisal, all of these are criteria for 360-degree feedback. But not all organization using 360 feedback. Maybe they just use immediate superior. Immediate superior. It can happen. Or they use peer and team members because in certain tasks they got teamwork. Okay, teamwork, team-based performance. So they might use immediate superior and also the peers and team members. Okay. So, meaning if you would like to introduce betterment for the performance appraisal, what can you introduce? The process of evaluation, the those who what we call the appraisal, okay, appraisal we call. So you can improve the um, who will be the appraisal. Okay, I prefer to have question. Any question? Are you okay so far? Can I get any feedback from you all?
I think it's okay.
Okay. Thank you. Tranbish, right? Am I pronouncing correctly?
So almost.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, okay. So in every phases, we can say that we could always improve. For example, recruitment and selection, we could always improve the process. We could always introduce new things. How do you want to introduce? What do you want to introduce? Think about technology. Think about the how to make it faster, how to save costs, how to make it different. Because employees also would like to see an interesting practices in the organization, right? You can reflect yourself. If you were to join an organization, what kind of thing, what kind of policy that you prefer? Maybe, for example, because I came across uh, I think from my chit chatting with another lecturer, something not in this university, in the different university, and since we attended the training, I found that they mentioned for during the interview, especially for millennials, okay, generation Y, they prefer asking about the flexibility, okay, in the policy of flexibility in the organization. So meaning they are thinking about how to be more flexible. So to be more flexible, we depends on the IT. We depends on the we depends on the availability of data, availability of access, right? So in every phases of human resource management functions, including performance appraisal. Okay, we would like to have something that make ourselves we can save our time, make ourselves more comfortable, more flexible to produce the right output, to produce the best performance. Okay, so appraisal period as well. How can we improve the um, organizational performance process? How can we improve the performance appraisal? We also can consider the period of performance appraisal, which or how many times that is the best performance appraisal, how frequent the performance appraisal should be to come up with the best practices. Huh? So do we have enough single answer for that? Yeah. So you must come up with, if you were to talk about, the improvement could be in this or that. So you must have support, right? Because it might be different when we look at in different contexts. Different industry might have slightly different of appraisal period or appraisal process of performance appraisal. Okay, so last time, maybe in the earlier time, a long time ago, during the veteran kind of what we call generations, they have only once a year, right? And after that, twice per year. At least after 6 months, they do evaluation, and another evaluation will be towards the end of the year. But many organizations, also including banking sector, they use a quarter intervals. They have 4 times per year for the appraisal, and they use the system like what do you call check in, where they use gadget actually for them to receive, to interact between superior and also the superior or supervisor and also the employee. So they indirectly they know the progress, they know what is happening so that they can resolve problem earlier rather than towards the end of the year. So that's make the things different when we have only one time performance appraisal, and also the frequency of performance appraisal may provide information that might be useful for the superiors to do correction or to improve it to resolve the problem. Right? Okay. Okay, the system. Now we look at the system. Okay, we have trait system, comparison system, behavioral system, and result-based system. So I'm not assigning my students to talk about the system. Okay, but you just need to aware that a proper system, a proper performance appraisal system that suit with the organizational what do we call nature of organization also will be important. So performance system, what is performance system? What is performance system? System that we use to measure the performance, right? The system that we use to measure performance. Just now I mentioned to you check-in. I give you example of check-in. Sorry, check-in. Sorry, CHECT. Check-in. Check-in. Check-in is one of the what do we call application that is a system that we use to monitor performance, to monitor progress, and also for performance. So this one also could be one of the example of the system that we use. Let's say you are in the ABC company in Hanoi. You mentioned that ABC company have used a few systems to monitor progress, to measure performance and whatever. So talk about the system, right? Okay, so these are among the system. But for the revision, I'm not going to go in detail. But just to the most important thing, you know that system is a platform for the organization to measure. Different organization may use different system. I give you an example like in the one of the system, because in performance we mentioned that if you're practicing only evaluating performance towards the end of the year, you might have an issue with the problems, you might have an issue with the underperformance. Okay, so company keep on improving by introducing more frequent feedback or more frequent performance appraisal. For example, quarter, 4 times per year. Okay, so the system that you would like to describe should include how frequent, what kind of system or what kind of platform that you use, how the system is supposed to be able to make both parties interact well, resolve the issue, and also provide the complete set of feedback and also the input to both parties. Right, so I don't ask my student to talk about this what do we call the types of system lah. Just you can use the system discussion in as a you can use the system performance appraisal system um to you can discuss about how not how the performance system is being used. You can discuss what kind of system that you would be able to suggest or give for the improvement of the performance appraisal. All right. So these are the what do we call the the nature of the system that they use, right? Because I don't provide in detail the problems on the performance appraisal, either behavior or whatever. So you can talk about overall or general description about the system that you use. Basically, it's about communication, the evaluation process, and whatnot, right? It's more on this part. It's more on the traits, okay? What kind of, make sure a successful implementation. All right, so now I'm going to, okay, this one, management by objective. Remember just now I mentioned about the not goal setting, I mentioned about objective, right? Standard. Okay, so basically to make it better, or you could say that if you were to improve the performance, if you look at the trait just now, goal achievement here, goal achievement. So trait must be clear, what criteria, accurate, reliable, clear terms and definition. here we get back to the objective here. Can you look at the objective? Okay, the objective must be clear, and then most of the successful organization, the top management not come up with the objective solely, but they discuss, or they prefer to have a participative management decision making. So the company that implementing participative management decision making, they normally would like to get feedback from the employees. Okay, so supervisors and employees decide on performance objectives. So you can imagine supervisors and employees decide on performance objectives. Of course, it's going to be, okay, both parties are happy. Okay, they prefer to to succeed in this project, for example, in this work, because of the aware that they set up together with both employees and supervisor. Okay, and then they decide whether objectives are tied to the company strategy, both. So alignment of the strategy. Okay, alignment, strategy alignment, alignment of the strategy. Alignment of the strategy. And then progress is reviewed and decisions such as objective revision are made. Progress is reviewed. That's why this is frequency lah. Frequent, how frequent. Yeah. And then this one, concern is a result at any cost or mentality, and cost of mentality. So we could say that we talk about the cost. I use this one as a cost. Okay. Right. So in the not only if here you could say the cost is our, what do we call, is our concern. So why they would like to use management by objective as a method, because of they would like to make sure that both employees and employees aware what they have said, and they also can come up with this the right objective that align with the strategy, right? And then they come up with the decision on how many times to review. So they agree together, and also the cost. So it's what cost. Okay. Right. And yeah, what standard mean you fulfill the objective lah. Okay. And in the objective, we are going to set up the standard. STD, standard. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so far, so good. Or any question? Do you have any question? Please ask. Are you clear with that? Okay. All right. So to make our performance appraiser better, to improve performance, we must predict what would be the potential challenges. We must predict so that we are going to be be prepared and ready for the implementation. So normally, the challenges will be coming from various factors, okay, including unstructured process. Unstructured process. We don't have a proper, what do we call, a flow, okay, a clear flow. Okay, a clear flow. What do you call? Clear flow for the employee. Maybe employee confused. So all of this is about communication. Communication. Or maybe you don't have maybe you don't right the latest policy. Let's say you have problems because of the employees do not aware of the latest policy. So unstructured performance appraisal process also might provide a problem to the employees. Okay, so the challenges also will be coming from the feeling of the appraiser is not giving you any improvement. So let's say if you look at number 1 here, once a year process is time consuming and involve labor intense work. So this is because it takes time. You imagine for one employee, let's say we take up around 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So if we have 200 employees, how many minutes already wasted? And lack integration and alignment. This is an issue if we don't discuss with the employee. We don't plan with the employee. Limited feedback, lack of assistance, development and coaching. So another issue. And review are reactive, not proactive. Reactive means we know the performance, we know the current achievement, and then we give comment. But proactive means before anything happens, meaning before you at the end of before the end of the year, you come up with a proactive action by having more frequent feedback. So if you are implementing only once a year, your the reactive also would be the challenge. Big challenge because of they don't know, they cannot share with you, and even the employer or supervisor also not getting updates. But towards the end, we found that you are not performing. Okay, so reactive we call. So that's why we need to take proactive. So in your mindset, you can always think about what is proactive. What is proactive action in every HRM actions? What are the proactive actions in every HRM function? Okay. So I'm going to do it. Right. So alright. So every HRM function is the one that you choose, and this is performance appraisal. Every HRM function, recruitment, selection, training, safety, or whatever. Okay. So under each HRM function, we have practices. This one normally I use the term practices because function is only one. If we talk about safety and health, yeah, it's safety and health function. But practices means a lot of practices that you have under safety and health. Let's say performance appraisal, a lot of practices. Maybe you have team-based performance, you have individual-based performance, you have integrated criteria or whatever. So anything that you decided to implement in your organization that might be different compared to other organizations, we call practices. Okay, in terms of other than practices, we have policy. Policy may be in the form of rules and regulation that you documented under the policy that you need to adhere. You need to adhere the policy. Okay, practices implementation. So example of implementation in the performance appraisal. For example, you have a team-based performance, based performance. Maybe you have mentoring system, mentoring and coaching. Okay, these are among the practices. Not all companies have got mentoring and coaching, but you implemented mentoring and coaching to coaching to succeed. Throughout the journey in your company. All right. So we also need to aware of we need to avoid this problem. The problem we need to avoid. So to avoid the problems, or what we call, we must avoid the problem. We must avoid the problem. So avoiding the problems can improve the performance appraisal practices. So we avoid, there are skills for the appraisal, to be equipped with, so that he or she can successfully performing the performance appraisal session. So normally when we have appraisal discomfort, these are among the problem. Appraisal discomfort. For example, I'm a supervisor, but today I'm really not comfortable. I've got so many meetings and I have my own problem as well. I don't see anything that would be effective for me to start appraisal today. Okay, so appraisal discomfort also is the problem. subjectivity not clear, bias error, biasness, contrast error, error of central tendency, error because of favoritism, contrast error because of you see between you are comparing between candidates. Central tendency, normally on average, you like to give the rating as an average now. If let's say you give 7, the rest will be 7, 6, 7, 6, 6, 6, 7. Okay. Errors of leniency. Leniency or either too strict or too lenient. Okay. And employee anxiety. Okay. Okay. So to improve that, you need to improve the performance appraisal process now. Okay, process, policy. If let's say the current policy is okay, is workable and also effective, then you no need for you to introduce another one. If you think that you would like to improve, then you improve the policy because organization should follow the policy. Procedure, um, implementation. Mm, all right. Okay. These are among the problems. Okay. So I'm not going to explain this part, but you must know what are the um, the consequences from the problems in performance appraisal. Okay. So this one, if you look at here, characteristic of effective appraisal system, this also criteria that should be okay, or factors to improve performance appraisal. Factors to improve performance appraisal. Okay. So what you can do, how you can improve for each single criteria. Yeah. So you must explain in what ways you can improve all of this. How to improve. Sorry. In what ways? Okay. If you mention about train appraisal, who is appraisal? Evaluator, right? So train on what? What about continuous open communication? Do you have any platform? How the employee get feedback? Like just now I mentioned check-in, like let's say in Standard Chartered, there are many banking institutions use check-in apps. So yeah, for the supervisor and also employee to keep on getting feedback and also working together. Okay, new process means should there be any required uh, what do you call action? Okay, so you must have a proper you must follow accordingly. Okay. Anyone would like to ask anything? Are you okay so far? We will take 1 hour on this topic, and then we continue with the rest of the topic. Okay, this is an important topic for you. All right. So, sorry. Sorry. Okay. So this is the explanation on job related criteria. It's not right. Job related criteria. So when you mention about characteristic of appraisal system, everything must be clear. Okay. So from this criteria also you can determine to make it more clear so that you can come up with a successful performance appraisal. Yeah. So it's quite standardization, the standard, the benchmark. That you standard mean the measurable factors. Standard, let's say you mentioned the employer must succeed, must achieve 300 unit per day, for example. Okay, that's the standard, right? Continuous open communication and due process. Okay. So another reason why performance appraisal is important not only uh, for the rest of the share and function, but they are abide with the legal implication. If you don't have a proper performance appraisal, you also do not follow accordingly the requirements in the performance appraisal, you might be claimed under negligent performance appraisal. So it's about the lawsuit and also negative evaluation. Right? So you also have a legal challenge if you don't really apply the performance appraisal accordingly. So that's why no discriminatory merit pay, no firing employees from protected group, with good performance rating, no age bias in performance, no not retain employee with unsatisfactory performance. Okay. Right. So we need to identify the any problems or any issues from performance appraisal. All right. Yeah, and then the session also it will be in the form of interview. Basically, we say the interview session between between the employees and also the superior. So the arrangement should be always thinking about how to make it better. Scheduling interview. Yeah, we have a proper guideline for the interview. Use place of criticism. So all of these things to make sure that the process, the smooth process, smooth process, smooth process for you to obtain to, to obtain as much as you can info and feedback. So, info and feedback. Here are smooth process to collect what they call maybe unusual scenario or issues, any issues. This can be also any suggestion or any limitation or problems. So you can design how to make it, let's say, how to make it more, how to improve the process. Okay, from both parties. Yeah, the rest is about how to conduct to come up with the details about how to come up with a process, appraisal interview. The okay. Any problems so far? Yeah. So remember, the performance appraisal can be improved. You can improve so many things in performance appraisal. You must know what are the current acts that we can use in performance appraisal to how to make it more effective. Because when the innovativeness came to us, we understand that technology would resolve the problems actually, because as you aware of evidence-based management is really important. So when we have a performance appraisal, we must put in our mindset about the evidence base. Okay, so when you do performance appraisal, you must have evidence. So evidence will be in the form of data as an input. So this one you must use technology basically. So technology can be described as a system. Okay. Any question? Okay, before we proceed to the next.
Teacher, can I have the confirmation about some requirement in the final report?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Come again?
because we need to use the scenario and the information in the context, so we need to choose a real company in Hanoi, right?
Yes, yes. You can
Yeah,
choose.
okay.
All right. You can choose
Is it
because, yeah,
is it compulsory or so because we need
it's not,
to
yeah, it's not
evaluate it
compulsory.
is a yeah.
Okay, okay. It's not compulsory for you to choose a certain company in Hanoi and then talk about that company. No, it's not about that. But you can assume because for me, this assessment actually to assess your ability to apply knowledge from managing human resources. So you just as an introduction, you can mention based on this context. For example, okay, using the information from in the given context, I think that is possible or whatever. So when we would like to talk about whether the organization is capable or not, you can use the organization, okay, not necessarily to tell about ABC organization or SPA organization, whatever, but you can talk about that. However, let's say when you were to come up with question number 2, you would like to talk about initiative that can be taken, yeah, in the project assigned to resolve the employee involvement issue in justification. You can talk for the initiative that you will introduce. If let's say you would like, no, for me, why when I use the term Hanoi, so that you can reflect your idea to what is happening in the company in Hanoi. So meaning you can always give example like you mentioned the initiative. This has been proven by successful company in Hanoi. Let's say Medispa, for example. Okay, so you can apply in the context of Hanoi. So when you talk about when you write your paper, your answer, and then I mentioned also that you need to um, include the external environmental factors, right? So that suit with the question. So you need to look at the competitors. You need to look at in various kind of business how they deal with, yeah, how they face up with the external environmental factors. But basically, you need to. I think question number 1, 2, 3. Basically, you refer to the context given in the passage or given in the scenario. However, the last question, when it comes into the last question, where you need to introduce the practices, okay, you could use or you can or you may need to analyze the environment in Hanoi to suit with the new recommendations. Okay? Because question number 1, 2, and 3, these 3 questions basically based on the passage or scenarios given. But question number 4 is very open. You need to talk about innovative HRM practices, and HRM practices could be different kind of practices. Okay, but remember, the practices would be good if you can get from different HRM functions. For example, because I require you to come up with 3 HRM practices. For example, you don't talk about, let's say, performance appraisal, you talk about performance management, but you come up with practices that coming from one function. It's not so good. So you need to think about what about the recruitment selection? What about the performance appraisal? What about the training and development? It came from 3 functions. Then you can apply more yeah, from your knowledge of managing human resources. Are you clear with that?
Yes, yes. And can we do an introduction and conclusion apart from 4 questions?
Come again? Can you do
Can
introduction?
I do the introduction and the conclusion apart from 4 conclusions? Apart from 4 questions?
Okay. Um, you can do a brief introduction because you are limited with number of page, number of words count.
Yes, okay.
Right. Okay. So you can say, but exceeding 10% is considered okay, right? So I think, yeah, of course, question number one, you can start with the introduction first, a brief introduction, not so long, a brief introduction. And question number four, then you do conclusion under the question number four, not separate, paragraph, okay, not separate page or whatever. Okay, conclusion, just right after the last question. Okay, can we proceed to the next chapter? Okay, so you can still see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, chapter 10. Chapter 10 is on performance, on safety and health. So think about either the topic suit with the scenario given, or maybe if you don't have so many things to do, then maybe you prefer to choose the topic, right? So it depends on you how you identify the topic itself, right? This is the one. Yeah. Right. Employees' health and safety. As you know that yeah, it is becoming more important nowadays to look at the what do we call look at um, the safety and health, especially people nowadays is not only looking for a secure job, but they're looking for harmony kind of workplace. They prefer to have flexibility. They prefer to have a healthy work environment, right? So in the case that you think that there are an issue with that particular scenario or the given context, then you might recommend for safety and health. It depends on you, right? So basically, your employees are concerning on safety and health for them, and we also as an employer, let's say we are an employer, we also need to abide with the law and also the requirements that we need to fulfill in the workplace. Okay, so anything that can cause injuries, that can cause accidents, and also the sexual harassment, violence, might be we need to correct the situation as soon as possible, and we need to aware that being an employer, the most important thing is to make sure that our employees secure and also they are safe in the workplace. Okay. Right. So we know the aims of OSHA to make sure the safety and health of in the of a single occupation. All right. Okay, I think for this topic, basically we concerning more on should there be any issues that could be requires an urgent attention from the employers. Then safety and health also might be giving impact towards employees' performance and the organization, right? So in your case, for example, you think that maybe during the performance appraisal, or maybe there are issues with the involvement or whatever issues challenge in the workplace that lead to the due to the safety and health, then you can choose the safety and health topic to talk about the practices that might help the company to move forward, that might help the company to perform better. Okay, either safety and health is the reasons that made them facing with the problem or not. Okay. Right. So there are various safety programs that we can introduce. Yeah. What kind of, let's say, if we talk about flexibility, so how do you design your workplace to be flexible? How do you concern on safety and occupational health when you talk about flexibility? Any problems with the safety equipment? Do you have enough support or enough resources in that you can make sure the employees will be safe in your workplace? Or you would like to introduce a training program for improving the safety and health? right? So I think the subject or the topic itself very easy, and then it might support you to uh, think about innovative safety and health program, lah, right? And nowadays we could have an online training where you could go through a different processes. Sometimes the organization buy a certain software, or they what do we call, they have a certain website where the employees can go to the website at their own pace, at their own time. Okay, they can access and go through the training and after that answer the question. So the nature of giving training might be different in future because people relying more on their own flexibility, and they prefer to get ready, as when they're ready they would like to learn. Okay. Okay, the rest is on the, I think we have no issue with the, not so many issue with the safety and health. Ergonomic, I think this has been, you have been aware of the posture for us to stay healthy, okay, to make sure that we not use excessive pressure, okay, especially the way you sit, the eyes and everything, all right? And bullying and workplace violence. So if you find the topic suit with the context given, then you can choose the topic to explain further how to improve, what kind of incentive, what kind of innovativeness that you can introduce. Okay. Yeah. So we don't have any issues with the vulnerable employees. However, in your case, I think you have generational gaps, right? So you talk about that. Okay, generational gaps where they have a different preference, they have a different capacity, okay, they are good at different things, they have different expectations. Okay, so you talk about that in different generation in the workplace. So you can assume that you have a variety of people in the workplace, maybe not coming from Hanoi, but you can have also people from different nationality, different countries, different languages. So how you might improve to make them involved in everything, to make them feel like involved, mean they engage. Okay? They are there when the organization talking about, yeah, improving or whatever. They are part of you. They are part of the company. Okay, the rest is about laws and also preventive action. Yeah, normally if you take safety and health, and of course 100% you use this topic, right? For you in your context, maybe you can touch about, I think the most related part, basically you just, yeah, because you need to relate with the flexibility and also generational gaps, generational differences. Okay, I think that's all for, yeah, for the this topic. Not to forget, I think the stressful job. This is this thing we didn't cover. But now this is normal lah, not to avoid any dissatisfaction, to avoid any problems, any issues. Then we use various programs to make sure that they are safe enough in the workplace. That's all for safety and health. Any question for this part? Yeah, so you may choose which topic that you have an interesting, you have your interest to discuss about that to towards the improvement to suit with the scenario given. Okay, are you okay for this topic? If you are okay, I would like to proceed to the next topic. Can anyone confirm?
I guess we can continue.
Thank you. Thank you. And towards the end, again, I'm going to repeat again to make sure that you don't miss anything, right? Then you are really clear with that, because it's not difficult, but just a matter for you to know how to apply. All right, stop sharing for that. I think we can find actually this is here. Mhm. Topic 11, right? Topic 11. Okay. Topic 11 is on employee internal relation and industrial relation. Internal employee relations and industrial relation. Two terms here. The internal employee relations means relationship between employee and employer. So between employees and employer, between the organization and its employees. Industrial relation is another thing. Okay. So do we have um, both in the organization? Okay, we're going to look at together. And how this topic reflect your project. Is it related? Can you come up with a recommendation of innovative idea coming from this topic? Okay, let's go together. Right. So it's up to you which one that you think you can apply more, and also you can come up with your more innovative ideas towards improving the organization, and what kind of factors that you're supposed to improve on in this in the project. Right. Okay. You look at the internal employee relation. Basically, we talk about the whole journey of employee in the organization, starting from onboarding, starting from the orientation up to the resignation or up to the retirement age. So we call employee relationships. uh, Okay, throughout the journey of an employee in the organization. So it includes anything happen to the employees, like we transfer him or her to different department, we promote, we terminate, we what do we call? We demote. Okay, demote and promote two different things. And promotion, we move into the next career ladder, but demotion, we transfer these people to the area that he or she do not have expertise on that. Like she doesn't have expertise on that particular unit. In that particular unit, so we call demotion. So basically, it is to demote them, not to motivate them, but to demote them, right? So the whole journey for an employee in the organization, starting from onboarding or orientation to the resignation or retirement age. All right. So we have employment at will. We need to aware of either informality, whether you are prescribed with the terms and condition or not. Right. I think in our in your project you are not given a scenario where we have an issue with that. Okay, employment at will. Right. We don't have so much an issue between the employer and employee in terms of terms and condition. So meaning they follow accordingly to the law. The issue just a matter of improvement, not a problem that they don't follow the employment act. Okay. So here, if you look at the industrial relation, basically we're going to deal with the industrial relation on the certain issue, and basically in industrial relation itself composed of the association. It is an association. What do we call the industrial relation itself composed of employers and their association. Employers have their association. Employees have their association. So basically, when we have trade union, then we're going to rely or we're going to report or we're going to deal with the industrial relations. The employee and which the industrial relations system consists of employer and their association, employees and their trade unions and the government. So in this case, I give from the perspective of problems, issues, and whatnot. We're not really look at into the industrial relations system because no issue on the law itself. The issue is about to improve the practices. So it might not be affected and the industrial relation. But for the internal relation, yes, you can talk about how to improve the employees and employer. Right? Yeah, so trade union is not applicable. Yeah, it's not applicable. So since we're doing revisions, I'm not going to touch on the one that is not applicable. Right? So it's not applicable. Yeah, for the assignment, for the project. Right? So can we stop at this point for this topic? Anything you would like to ask from this topic? Okay, so we have internal relation and industrial relation. Okay, while you're thinking of asking, so I just remind you again. Right. So we have two internal employee relation, internal employee relation. We have internal employee relation and industrial relation. So for you, for the purpose of revision, I just emphasize on internal employee relation. So internal employee relation, I mentioned just now. Okay, this is internal employee relation. It is about the movement of the movement of the employees. So here I use the term. So, I use the terms employee journey, okay, throughout the organization. So um, how do you entertain them? How do you serve them? Okay, it's about entertain. How do you entertain employees? How do you serve them? How do you solve the problems? How do you help them? How do you assist? How do you support them? Okay, so anything experience, okay, mean employee experience. Mm. So from this chapter, basically, you can talk about employee experience. How you want to create betterment. Mm. Okay, this part only employee relation. So starting from the onboarding mean orientation. Okay, and then training and development. Normally we talk about career progression. Sometimes when you talk about internal employee relation, we touch about training and development. So you are free to choose maybe recruitment and selection, training and development, performance appraisal or whatever. Okay, so you are free to do that. Okay, if you look at, you have question number 1, 2, question number 4. Question number 1, they're asking you about the possibility and you need to what do we call, you need to support. Um, number two asking on what? Number two, I think asking you on the um, asking okay, how to employee involvement, employee involvement. Number two, employee involvement. I don't want to write it because you yourself check. Number three, okay, I would like to highlight number three actually. So, never mind. Okay. Here is the number okay, 1, 2, number 3, and number 4. Number 3, you need to talk about performance appraisal. Number 4, innovative practices. Let's say in the innovative practices, you would like to include performance appraisal, but please don't repeat it. You must have something different. Okay, let's say you have so many interests in your performance appraisal, you would like to include here. Because here I mentioned that to have a good marks, you need to come up with a different functions. Okay, for example, recruitment and selection or training and development, training and development, performance appraisal or whatever. Remuneration. Okay, so because the marks about 25 marks. Okay, any question? If no question, I'm going to move to the next topic. Are you clear?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So we assume that the rest also clear. Maybe you are busy with your another compliment or not so sure, right? So since I share you on my screen, okay, let's see the last topic. The last topic is on the international HRM. International HRM. Okay, I give you a rest 5 minutes. Are you okay, or you want to continue? I'm okay here.
I think
Yeah. Yes. You prefer to continue or we take rest? I'm okay with both. If continue, then we can continue. After that, we finish a bit earlier. And Vishnu, can you confirm?
oh, sorry. I think there's some problem with your connection.
Or why you couldn't see the?
Can you say that again?
Okay. There are two options: whether to stop for 5 minutes to take rest, or you want to continue. Which one do you prefer?
I think we can continue.
All right. So when we finish earlier, then you can do your own job, right? Okay. So can you see on the screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. The last topic is on international HRM. Okay. So yeah, we are revising the topic. All right. So how this topic will be applicable in your final project? Basically, you need to think about the situation. Is it possible the consideration should include is it possible to include international factors as part of the discussion? Okay. Based on the given context, if that I don't mention on the international. But if you, however, when you come up with the innovative, you come up with a new innovative idea, you would like to say in future, then you can include information or knowledge from international human resource management to as part of your content in the discussion. So based on question number 1, 2, 3, 4, whichever answer that suit with the question, then you can include topic 12 into the answer. Yeah, as you notice, performing international HRM is a bit complicated compared to local HRM. From the local HRM, we say that we're aware of the internal. Yeah, internal is our internal. Internal is inside the company. So our resource could be manpower, sorry, manpower, maybe money, right? What else? Um, of course, capability, capabilities, and whatnot. Right. So, however, the external is outside, outside, outside the organization. Inside the organization is within our control. Outside the organization, beyond our control, we cannot control. Okay. Alright. So if let's say you're doing your business in Hanoi only, so this is local lah, local. So your concern is within Hanoi. Okay. So your external environment means in Hanoi. But if you do your business internationally, it depends on your mode of doing business, mode of international business. Because international business could be in importing, exporting, strategic alliances, what do we call licensing or whatever. So instead of that, also you might have maybe multinational at multinational level or at global level. Multinational, global. So the environmental factors, or the challenges will be wider. Okay, so it is more we call it whether you are local, international, multinational, global, if the complexity will be high. Okay. Yeah, complexity. More complex. Okay, more complex. More complex. And this is local, you can say that this is easy or simple, and then it's more complicated. Okay, when you go globally, you're going to be more complex. So, in your case, if you were to suggest on the improvement, you would suggest on betterment, innovative idea, maybe you need to think about the how the business will be expanding your business. Huh? So we always can include in expanding the business. We always can include international in our consideration. Right. So this chapter basically talk about the each single HRM function at the international and global level. Right. Yeah. So it always in your explanation to realize on the external and internal. Beyond your control, you must adopt or adapt. But these external environmental factors normally, you will have opportunity and threat. Either you will take opportunity or you will avoid the threat. Okay? It's beyond your control. You can do nothing. Right? But for the internal, you will find the strength and weaknesses from the internal. Okay? Any question here? Okay. All right. So internal human resource management is really important if we were to expanding our business at international level, multinational level, or global level. The higher the number of countries affected or we are doing business, so the complexity is more. Okay, so the complex when we use the term complex, basically we talk about environmental factors, either external and internal. So external will be coming from what? Sorry, politics, economy, social, technology, environment, or any environmental issue, and some legal factor. We call PESTEL analysis. Internal automatically is about SWOT. So you must know what is the strength of this company, what is the weaknesses of this company, what are the opportunities and threats, the outside and the external. Sorry, internal, this two. Internal. Okay. So your task always, okay, when you are given project, you need to analyze. Analyze means you need to identify, you should be able to analyze the given context, relate and think about how the information could be helpful to relate with the best practices or new suggestion. Okay. The next is on the global. Remember, the one that I mentioned, politics, economy, societal factors, okay, legal factors, cultural and culture here is society, societal factors, and labor relation, government, right? This is rules and regulation lah, governmental rules, and this is from societal factor. Okay. So it's going to be more complex, eh? So if you plan for the expanding of business, then you're going to touch on in terms of more complexity. Because you need to know the labor law, labor relation. You must understand the societal factors, culture, political, trade barriers, or whatever. Legal, about the Employment Act there, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, so you are not going to discuss in detail pertaining to each single factors because you are limited with the word. So talk about the how complexity is, what kind of future plan, and then what are the criteria that you need to include. As we aware of, we do have look at here. For example, in the case of China, in the recruitment process, they need to be aware of the what do you call rules and regulations or law provided by the Chinese law, employment law in China, and selection as well, compensation in terms of minimum wage. All of these things must be they must alert. Uh, so since you are given with a limited number of words counts, you also need to be good at make it concise, make it short but solid, very solid answer to cover the relevant chapters and also the functions and practices that you choose. Okay, and this one, if you look at here, improving performance, HR as a profit center. In the previous time, we have HR as a cost center. HR as a cost center because HR incurred recruitment and selection costs, training and development. We give compensation, remuneration. Everything is about money. So we incurred costs. But nowadays, HR is we changed the role of HR as a profit center. How they can make profit? So in the international HRM, IHRM, companies that have international operation, they have to be aware of the international HRM functions. International HRM functions. Okay, so the functions of international HRM still same. Functions are similar because they do recruitment and selection, training and development, compensation, salary of compensation is salary or remuneration. They have safety and health. They have industrial relation. They have international HR. But the terms that we use in recruitment and selection, for example, we use the employees as expatriate. We use the name as expatriate, and the process of recruitment and selection of expatriate also different compared to the local recruitment and selection. The training and development will be different. Compensation will be different. safety and health will be different. Okay, so that's why if you plan for the international operation, you might touch on how the package that you would introduce to the expatriate. Okay, so nowadays, you can see that we may have also borderless organization. We are not limited by the border. Okay, we can utilize the technology um, to work and to be everywhere, and we can yeah um, be appear online. We can resolve the problems, or we can improve the or resolve our concern or whatever through online. Meaning, you to do international business, multinational business, and global business is more issue nowadays because we are assisted or equipped with the technology. Right, so expatriate can involve in we have different terms for the expatriate. Maybe you have virtual expatriate, so it depends. So you can also talk about virtual expatriate if you like to have an international arrangement in future, but you plan for the international expatriate, the virtual expatriation as the first step. So you can always include that. Okay. Yeah. So these are types of staffing or approaches to global staffing, either ethnocentric, polycentric, geocentric, and also region centric. That we could use. So it depends on this is very what do I call, I'm not going to evaluate a single how do you use that because I don't provide any scenario for you to determine the right approach, but I just allow you to talk about international operations. If you would like to plan for the international operations in future, and you can decide which staffing approach that you could use. Okay, all right. So if you look at the recruitment and selection for uh, international, what do we call international um, employees, or we call expatriate. So you might use the um, what do we call criteria, okay, for you to determine the right candidates. It can be it can be through testing, realistic review. So not necessary to discuss in detail, but we found just to make it to general description, then we can. Yeah, diversity here. Diversity doesn't matter either you are international performing international HRM or not. Diversity is everywhere. Even if you do your what do we call local HRM practices, or you know, also you have diversity. Diversity means any differences. Okay, so in your case, you should talk about diversity. This is a must. You should talk about diversity. So how to come up with the best practices? How to make it better? How to improve? How to improve? I think at your age, you already creative, and you have your ideas on how to make them evolve, okay, how to encourage teamwork. Okay, so this could be applicable, and you can use your creativity and so yeah, your idea. Right. Okay. Okay. This is training and development is slightly different because for the spectrum we provide them three what we call three stages. Before, during assignment, and before they complete the assignment. So repatriation, orientation and training before going. These are the important tasks. And during the assignment, we help them. Okay, we update them. We allow them to know the progress, the latest update in the country, and also we have the repatriation orientation. We call it repatriation training. Repatriation training to let them know what is the current lifestyle, what is the new workplace ethics or whatever. Okay, so we allow them to know before they return back. Normally, this is the problem faced by international countries. They have the problem to implement the right process or the right what you call the um, the repatriation policy and also repatriation practices to make the expatriate happy when they return back the home country. Sometimes they have been familiar with the foreign countries culture, so they might have difficulties when they return back the home country. So they will be getting the support from company. All right. Okay, so the details about what are the content for the pre-orientation. So in your context, I don't require the student to detail out what about the yeah, detail of the training of the uh, expectation and repatriation. Okay, here virtual teams in global environment. So if you would like to talk about the future planning on globalization, you may need to um, maybe yeah, because nowadays we talk about the latest trend, new generation, current generation. So you might need to talk about the um, IT support. Okay? How do you help them to be smooth in everyday working life? Okay, right. So here, let's say to make it more effective, maybe you can talk about technology and what. Even though we have one topic, basically maybe we will have only a few lines to say about global environment, to say about in future the company may need to consider whatever the IT or data evidence-based management, whatever, for you to let the reader know that these are among the consideration, right? This is on issue, yeah, difficulties that virtual team confront. They might have a problem. So the issues here might provide ideas for you to suggest. Okay? In this case, maybe in future, what the company should consider. Your suggestion to avoid the difficulties or to help them to deal with the difficulties. Okay. Any question? Anyone got question? Do you know how whether you can apply or not the knowledge to the discussion? So it's up to you which chapter that you would use, okay, to identify which HR and function could help you to make it clear, okay, how to succeed in that project. Okay. But this chapter we are referring to the international management of performing human resource. Okay, international human resource management. So um, here also this is another terms that commonly used. Organizations should think globally and act locally. Think globally means they need to have a standardized. They need to have a standardized a standard now. A standardized what do we call policy, okay, policy, general policy, but they also need to act locally to suit with the local country. If training, for example, you found that training is more on vocational skills in that particular country, so you need to reconsider. All right. Okay. Conversation. So that's all for international business. I repeat. So this basically we revise what can we do with the topic 12 if we were to talk about betterment or improvement in human resources management. Okay, so you are required to meet the given context, and based on the question, you should apply knowledge from managing human resources. So international HRM is one of the chapter that you might want to rely on. Why? Because of there are several parts in this chapter that might be useful for you in the case that you were to plan on the future human resources in your company. So I remind you to touch or consider on the external factors and internal factors. It's similar to the managing human resources at local level, but this is more challenged since you need to deal with not only one country but maybe more countries, and you need to really alert on the uh, differences of factors, differences of the culture, differences of the rules and regulations, societal impact, um, technology level, okay, technological level, and also the because we do have different economic status in different countries. Yeah. So you maybe need to talk about local environmental issues or problems, or how to come up with innovative ideas. But in the case that you would like to share that in future you're going to consider betterment because of global expansion or multinational expansion, then you can include the important part in the human resource management activities or functions. It's going to be more complex, and then you will need to alert on the expatriation training and development, because you need to make sure the success is not only at the point where you send the candidate, but at the point from sending the candidate to the point that the employee or expatriate return back to the home country. We call repatriation. Okay. So if you would like to explain, since you are limited with the number of words, so you can use and elaborate concisely and also clearly from the general point of view for the international HR. I think that's all for this topic, right? Diversity also, if you look at here, diversity, flexibility, diversity, whatever implementation from the current generational workforces that we have in our country. You can imagine differences will become from people with different income, people with different languages, different nationality, gender, different societal background. They are also diversity. All right. So we still have 1 more hour for you to ask me. So I allow the student to ask me anything. Okay. You might want me to repeat or to guide you. Okay, this is your question. Yeah, follow exactly spacing 1.0 times New Roman. And if you look at here, this you need to submit to the right link. You remember I provide assessment criteria here, like you have rubric. Okay, in the last part you have rubric. How do I mark your paper? Let's see the rubric. Before that, let me follow the flow. You are encouraged to use recent literature. You must have literature support when you discuss Let's say you come up with a new innovative idea and you want to talk about this is for the purpose of effectiveness or whatever. So find the literature support. Literature support normally came from books or journal. Don't take from Investopedia. Don't simply take from only the website which is from non-credible sources. Okay, follow the guideline given here. Right, so you follow accordingly. The first project should be cover page, then rubric, content, your answer, references, the new report. Okay, follow accordingly. Okay, this is the scenario given. We have 4 questions. This one 500, 550 to 600. In the case that you have lack of ideas in this part, but you have many ideas in this part, so for me it's okay as long as you can fulfill 200 to 2200 to 2400, at least between 2200 2400. Sometimes you have less idea here, but you would like to talk more, write more here, and then for me it's okay. But don't be too far lah. At least maybe 400, 450. Okay. So question number 1. Do you think whether it's possible for the company to change policy? This is coming from your idea. If you say no, then it's quite hard for you to answer the next of the question, right? So you must come up with your you analyze here. If you look at here, there is always an effort now, right? Then justify. So because when you talk about capability, also you need to you can talk about the internal and external first. Yes, I think it's not so difficult. Right, practices can be coming from any single what do we call any single functions. So this is the rubric. For example, question number 1 is testing on your analysis, whether you understand or not to analyze the given context. Okay, on strategy and capability. And after that, suggestion, your initiative, and then reflection, application, or business development. Right? So put this one, your appendix, right after your cover page. Okay? It's not difficult. Read carefully, highlight the keywords, and then don't miss any important information in the passage or in the context given. Right? So I'm done with the revision. But if should you have any question, I'm here to answer. You have how many more days? 6 days, right? To complete. So the key, what do you call? The most important thing is you don't miss any information provided that is really useful for you to use it in your answer from the scenario given. Okay? We still have time. You can ask me.
Teachers, can you check the chat box?
Thanks.
My friend has some questions.
Thank you. Can the number of words in the article be increased or decreased by 10%? Can be considered. Okay, to get a good grade, I mean the best grade, right? Try to make it just nice within 2 to 4. But you found that quite hard for you, you cannot at all, then you just remain. Right? But I think when because we give you 2 weeks, basically you can rephrase to make it just nice within 2 and 2 4. Because we do have the Greek, right? So let's say if I were to give you 25, so I must make sure that for those who you meet all the requirements, then I may give you 25. Whereas in the case that I feel like you have your point, but it's not necessary, then I don't think that you're excellent. So I may give you maybe 19 or 20. You are good, but there's a certain part that you're not following or whatever. So I may give you 20. So try to make sure you don't miss anything, the important information given in the scenario, and then try to apply to make sure that you don't miss anything. Then you're going to be here. Okay, but if you fail to understand and analyze the given context, for example, the first question, for example, you're doing something different. I ask you to decide either possible or not possible, but you talk about different things. So you have failed. Very poor. Right? So this is 5 lah. Okay. So remember your support is important because I mentioned here here is limited support means not enough. Limited support not enough means you're talking about you're talking about A but you support with B. Okay? Or no support at all, no literature review at all. You're going to be here. So don't misunderstand. Okay, for question number 2 here, the rest of the question as well will support. Okay. Don't come up with your idea without any support. You can get the support. I think for HRM, lots of literature review and also books you can find. Don't miss on the literature review. Don't support. Yeah. Evidence, you can see here evidence. So we have evidence and sufficient support and evidence. Sufficient support and evidence. Evidence means from the scenario. From the scenario. From the scenario. Maybe from the situation in Hanoi. Okay. But support and evidence are actually same. But evidence for me, something that we could see. We could see the evidence from evidence. Support and evidence are same. But evidence maybe in the physical juga lah. Okay, it can be support normally I use from literature review lah. It's also evidence. Okay, it's also evidence. But for let's say you would like to talk about the current political or the current employment law or whatever in Hanoi, so I just consider that as evidence lah. Okay. If let's see, because I basically I know the current development whatever. Both is evidence and support. So at least you have one, at least. Since LR is encouraged, so you can use LR. Don't forget, because without HR, you're going to be under here. Okay, don't forget. Any more questions? I think when you ask question, it might have two for all. Okay. So remember, practices and we have I just would like to highlight okay. This is HRM. And we have a lot of functions. This is not organization structure, sorry. I just would like to break down it into, so we have HRM. We have HRM functions and functions. So under functions, we have many practices. Practice 1, practice 2, practice 3. Let's say only 2 practices. Okay, functions. So let's say recruitment and selection, training and development. We also practices. What is our practice? Remuneration. It's our practice. Let's say we have rewards based performance. Whereas the other organization, they don't have reward based performance. And we have also what do you call? APL remuneration. We have let's say merit increment or whatever. And we have performance appraisal. Performance appraisal, we apply reward based performance. Okay, we capture this one from the performance appraisal and remuneration. In the performance appraisal, you practice what do we call? Maybe fairness, fair and justice performance appraisal. Or you use check-in tax. Here is your practice. Training and development, you have succession planning. Okay, succession planning is planning for your future leadership positions, so it's under development. Then you have what mentoring, and you have coaching. Coaching is between employees and employees and superior. Mentoring, basically we appoint mentoring system. For mentoring, different organizations, they implement different mentoring session. They may have pair mentoring system, so it depends. So that's why when you look at the practices may vary company by company. So company A and B might be different in its practices. They're performing the same thing. Okay, but company B may be outstanding company, what we call high performance work organization, high performance work system. So the practices of recruitment selection different, training and development different, remuneration different, performance appraisal is different. Okay, so in your case, you need to touch more on the practices. Yeah, how to make it better. Let's say appraisal session, how to make it better. All right. Any more questions? And research papers also can, right? So search for journal. Search for journal. And remember, it's easier for you. You can search. You can just type the title or whatever that you want to search, and then you put comma. For example, improving. For example, improving. Okay, I'll show you. For example, you go to Google Scholar. You go to Google Scholar. You type improving commitment, let's say. comma 2020 present 2024. Okay, so you can choose whichever topic that suit you. And remember what are the keywords or terms used in the project, in the project. And you can choose. Okay? Any more questions? Please ask. Don't waste your time by preparing project which doesn't meet the requirement. Okay? So do not take from Investopedia. Do not take so you must take from credible sources. That's what we call from credible sources. Okay, please ask. Or you understand all the explanation. Playlist. We have a different typing. And also formatting of the citation follow accordingly, okay, alphabetical order, and also follow the APA 7 edition. You can type journals from academia.edu. Yeah, you can journals from academia edu. Can you give me an example? As long as it has the the index. Make it safe, you search Google Scholar now or HRM Journal. Academia edu. Okay, there are various platforms. There are various platforms for the journals. You can, I think you to be safe, you can search through the, let's say, HRM journals, international HRM journals, management journals. Actually, I'm taking quite a bit of secondary data in Vietnamese because the data I take is from Hanoi. and the General Statistics Office of Vietnam. So mostly data is in Vietnamese. I hope you can check the reference. Okay. If you mention the data that you take from Hanoi, I would like to know because the references can guide me to go through the resource. But not please do not take from conference proceeding. Journals are okay, but conference proceeding I don't prefer to have that. Take from publication. Yeah. Don't simply take from HTTP uncredible sources from the internet. Okay, you cannot hear me clearly. Hold on, Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me? Can anyone confirm? Yes, you can. All right. So I think for since you mentioned that you are taking from Hanoi data, Vietnamese data, I think is from Hanoi in the General Statistics Office of Vietnam. So mostly data is in Vietnamese. I hope you can check the reference. So please make sure you attach you provide the HTTP, the data, the what do we call the access? Okay, the support and evidence means it is important. So don't I think the most important thing is for you to concentrate what actually the problem all about, what are the scenario all about, and then what is your task. Your task is to come up with your discussion pertaining to questions 1, 2, 3, 4. So don't miss any information in the question paper. Don't miss any information in the question paper to discuss concisely and what do I mean? A complete uh, discussion or complete answer within the number of words given. Sometimes you would like to provide so many support to strengthen your answer, but you don't really care about the important content for that particular answer. Highlight the requirements of keywords in the scenario. So when you claim, for example, you claim that to be improved in a certain practices, okay, innovative ideas in the form of whatever, and then support from the journal. Is this okay? All right. Okay. In this case, you can use it, but please not. Please don't use so frequent. Um, can you change to oh it is Vietnamese? All right, I can consider, but for the in terms of on the specific context, but for the support, if you were to talk about practices, then I think you can go to the normal journal. You can go to Google Scholar or Scopus to find out the relevant journal. This is, I think, for the in the context of Hanoi. Yes, we can rely on the website. The rest, any question? Yeah, while your friend is typing. Okay, so follow accordingly the cover page and then rubric, your content, okay, and then references and also the and submit accordingly. Many journals in Scholar requires access to it or pay for use, so I can use it. The CCTV screen. Yeah. You can use HRM journals. Most of, but you try to search first. It's very easy for you to access and also for you to read. Many HRM journals you can get access. I don't think any problem for that. Even books as well, open books. Okay, the rest, have you any question while waiting to one of friend? If you cannot access some papers, text to me. I have a power key from university. Yeah, yeah. I think your friend texting. You are still you're talking to your friend, right? Okay. All right. Any more questions? Do you understand the formatting, the rubric, and also the important thing? Okay. Remember the most important thing about you need to understand. The most important thing. The most important thing is you must understand each single scenario given. Any problems, whether information is a challenge, information is a risk, information risk challenge barriers are the same, whether the information telling you about the resource, whether the information talking about the capability, whether the information talking about the constraint, whether the information provide you um, uh, what kind of information that give you an input to resolve the problem, and you must play your role to make sure each single question uh, is answered accordingly. Okay, so I think that's all for our revision. Um, I still can answer your question. If you have any question, you can also ask through MS Team, MS Team, and then I try to get back to you. Okay, I think within 30 minutes. See, we have 3 hours today. So let's say if you have anything for the rest of the hour, you can ask me through MS Team. Yeah, I also would like to wish you all the best and also Happy New Year. Take care of yourself and make sure that you celebrate together with your family. Don't too stress. Okay, focus and do at your best level. Okay, so goodbye. But remember, you still have 30 more minutes to ask should there be anything, because I don't want to waste everybody's time. Some of you maybe you would like to proceed with the rest. Yeah, you would like to proceed with your own plan, whatever. So you can still chat with me within the 30 minutes. I'm still on my laptop here, right? And then all the best for your final. You follow according to the format and submit to the submission link, not the submit to the submission link given. All right. So thank you so much and have a nice day for today and Happy New Year for tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Happy New Year.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome. So when you come to Hub University next time, you can find me. I'm in Subang. It's Subang campus.
Yes, if we can.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye, teacher. Happy New Year. Thank you so
Happy
much.
New Year. Okay. Bye bye. Welcome.